It is a week where you need a scorecard to keep up with the action at the Rhode Island State House. Once the budget is passed, the rest of the General Assembly's business moves quickly, and it's likely we'll be spending the next several weeks, if not months, sifting through the decisions from this final week of the session. Arlene, let me begin with you. The budget is the big deal. We'll get to some of the other issues. What do you like? What do you not like?
Well, first of all, I think House Minority Leader Chippendale is absolutely right that Rhode Island has to have a budget that is the right size for Rhode Island. This incremental spending, the last minute things like a 63% conveyance tax coming in at the last minute, it's really embarrassing. And I just think Chippendale and his call to stop Rhode Island being one of the top 10 states for tax burdens on us taxpayers. We've got to stop this incredible growth in government without analysis of what really should be the size of our budget. It's disgraceful.
Joe?
Being a Monday morning quarterback is what we all are today. We can be critical of a lot what goes on. I don't like the Taylor Swift tax that they put on in people's second homes. And there's ways that can even be abused. Why the state of Rhode Island now is going to get involved in collecting property taxes when it's a local community's responsibility to do that. So I'm not happy with a lot of what I've seen over there, but you know, they had a lot of money from the federal government on COVID, and quite frankly, they blew it. And now they're in the position that they're in now. They could have watched that money, invested it properly. Instead, they spent the money instead of investing money, and that's why we're in the position we're in today.
And a lot of that went to affordable housing, but we haven't seen the results.
We haven't seen the results yet.
Joe?
Jim, Rhode Island is not an island, meaning people can move, they can leave. We're a small state. They can go to a lower tax state. The Taylor Swift tax, is it good? No, but the worst thing about it, it makes us look bad. Makes us look like we're adding a new tax, and Arlene says high tax state, and we want people to stay here. We want people to move here. And being a high tax state, we've really got to look at neighboring states and get our budget house in order.
There's an old saying, don't tax me, don't tax the man behind the tree. And that's what seems that takes place all the time when the state is looking to try to get more revenues. But the so-called 1% pays 35% of the tax burden. So if you figure what 1% is, that's about 10,000 people. So if those 10,000 people want to move to New Hampshire, Alaska, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, where they don't have to pay an income tax, then the 99% of the people are going to be paying, instead of 65% of the tax burden, they're going to pay 100% of it. We cannot be a state of just wealthy people. We can't be a state of just poor people. We need the diversification, and we have to encourage, we want wealth to be here, because if wealth comes here, that wealth also gives into philanthropy and helps the charities that are in our state.
He's absolutely right. Obviously, they continue to give funds here, some of the Rhode Island multimillionaires who've moved out of here. But of course, in their new states, they have to contribute their charitable funds there as well. Look, right-sized Rhode Island, will you please analyze the duplication? I don't like what Musk did, but in a way, we need a non-chaotic Musk-type person to go in and study the entire structure and say, this is duplication, 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 duplication. That thing shouldn't exist anymore as an agency, et cetera. Not politically, but just in terms of function, we need to right-size Rhode Island's budget.
You know, the House Speaker, Joe Sicarci, said, oh, this is a good budget and we're taking care of the people. The hard work is cutting and saying, look, we really need to go in. So you alienate some people. You may drop some people off who you've always taken care of. I think we're at the point now, Joe Larissa, that we just can't, it's unsustainable. The budget goes up about $1 billion every 4 years, not necessarily concurrent with a governor's term, but where are we going to be in 10 years from now?
And Jim, it's even worse. I mean, I'm here with a sensible panel, and I've got a smile on my face, but we've had other panel members in the progressive left that say Joe Palino is completely wrong. We've got to tax the 1% a heck of a lot more to pay for everybody else. But when you do that, the 1% ain't going to be here anymore. They're already leaving, more will leave, and then the tax burden, as Joe says, will be on everyone else. We need more wealthy people here because they pay the majority of the taxes. But Rhode Island is moving in the other direction. And in 10 years, if the progressive left gets their way, there's not going to be any more wealth in Rhode Island, and the tax burden is going to be higher on all of us.